Eagles have made 3 roster moves. Roster move 1, Julio Jones being elevated to the active roster. Also, Cam Jurgens, 21-day practice window, wide open. Also, EJ Jenkins added to the practice squad, probably because Grant Calcaterra has been concussed. Look, man, just in case y'all forgot, this is who I am. This is right here is what I do. This is the Diamond Crew. But I want to give a shout out to my G's and my OGs. But you already know what to do. But if you're new to the channel and you like content like this, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to like. I need you to comment. I need you to subscribe. I need you to share this. I need you to hit that notification bell so you're always up to date. But welcome back, fans. It is about to be an epic showdown this weekend. You don't want to miss this. It's Dallas week. That is one of the best weeks in the world for me. I love to see the Eagles beat up on the Cowboys. I love that. And I think that's going to happen this weekend. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles face off at Lincoln Financial Field this Sunday at 4:25. What I want to get into real quick, man, is I want to kick this thing off by a quick look at both teams' records and their performances from last week. The Cowboys is 5-2, and they just blew the doors off the Rams last week with, they scored 43 points in their last game. The Eagles been flying high with a 7-1 record, putting up around 38 points last week. And it was an amazing game for a lot of players on the offensive side. And we got to see a few things that need to be cleaned up on the defensive side. In this battle, the quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts has been on fire as of late. He had 4 touchdowns last week, 319 yards, and he had a dang stellar 135.7 QBR rating, earning him Offensive Player of the Week. That's amazing. But, we also, on the other side, we got Dakota Prescott, who also threw for 4 touchdowns last week, had 304 yards, 1 interception, and a really good QBR rating of 133.7. It's been a lot of talk right now about, finally Jalen and Dak gets to face each other. And look, we can't wait to see it. Just like I said, man, it was a measuring stick game for Jalen before. And he succeeded. I'm looking for him to do the same thing this week. So hopefully, Jalen can come out and have a game and mirror the game that he had last week. We can go ahead and get these Cowboys out of here because we're going to be at the link. So let's talk about the wide receivers real quick, man. They're making waves, man. A.J. Brown, a.k.a. Mega John, continues his streak with 8 receptions, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns, breaking Megatron's record. So you know how we do. We decided to make him a new name. Instead of Megatron, A.J. Brown is called Mega John. That's funny, man. Devontae Smith, man. He had a decent game last week. I don't want to forget Devontae Smith, man. He was 7 for 7 last week, 99 yards and a touchdown. I'm talking about a walking touchdown where he was just wide open. And I also want to talk about Julio, man. Julio had his first touchdown as an Eagle. And you can tell it was a moment to celebrate. As soon as he did it, man, I'm talking about the whole offensive line and the whole offense just piled around him, because we just couldn't wait to see Julio in the end zone. We all thought that Julio would be great when it comes to the red zone. It worked out for us. It was a great ball by Jalen. Jalen couldn't have placed a better ball. You know what I'm saying? And look, he got on in there. And I know he's looking to get in there this week against the Cowboys. But on the Cowboys side, CeeDee Lamb had a really good game. He had 12 catches and and 2 touchdowns last week. Man, it was he did amazing. He did amazing. And also Brandon Cooks was able to grab about I think 3 targets for 49 yards and a touchdown. So these receivers is something that we got to look out for. Especially with how Bradbury has been struggling. We need him to have a good game this week. But since we're talking about cornerbacks, let's get on to a few of the cornerback comparisons. As I've seen so far. These two cornerback matchups, man, this is an intriguing matchup because the question is, how will Bland and Gilly handle the dynamic duo of AJ and Smitty? Y'all let me know. Leave a comment down below and let me know how you think those two guys will match up against two of the best receivers in the league. But also, man, how will Slay and Bradbury look against Lamb and Cook? Again, leave a comment down below and let me know which one of these cornerback duos will probably have a better game. The Cowboys corners allowed 9 receptions for 85 yards. That's crazy, man. And I'm talking about just to the receiving core. This is just the receiving core for the Rams last week. They allowed 9 receptions for 85 yards. Now, on the other hand, the Eagles secondary defended 34 targets, allowing 24 receptions for 288 yards. So as you can tell, there's some work to be done. There's some things that need to be cleaned up there. And I think this is the game to do it. Bradbury had a not so good game. He surrendered about 70 yards last week. He also gave up 2 touchdowns. That's something that we cannot do against this receiving core in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, these tight ends, they need to be shut down. We have, I don't think that we're going to be getting Bradley Roby back this week. But at the same time, I think that we have what it takes to shut these guys down. The Eagles secondary is ranked around 20th in the league with a 96.9 rating. So this is definitely a regression from last year. And look, I don't know if it's a major regression. Maybe they're just not seeing things. Things has been different. This is a new system for those guys. There's a lot of different reasons why these guys might not be having the success that they had last year. But while we talking about corners and we talking about defense, I want to talk about these pressures. From both sides. From the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Because in this game, in my opinion, pressures will be important. And the Cowboys are dominating this year. They are ranked number 1 in the league with a 46.7 quarterback pressure rating and a 37.2 blitz percentage. These guys are blitzing. These guys are pinning their ears back, and they get into these quarterbacks, and they cause them turnovers. So we want to make sure that the offensive line is intact this week. Like I said, man, we getting Cam Jurgens back. That's major for the offensive line. I think Sua Opeta did a decent job, but I think Cam Jurgens is the difference for this team. Because when Cam Jurgens was out there, this running game was official. You know what I'm saying? We blocked better, in my opinion. But Sua Opeta has not been good in run blocking. He has not been good. In pass blocking, he's been a bit better. But in my opinion, I think Cam Jurgens is better in the answer to our offensive line issues. And it's not much, man. This offensive line has been doing well. But, the small things that's been stopping us from being able to run, I think that's, right there at Sua Opeta's spot. And as y'all know, looking at the other side, Jalen Hurts, he has been struggling against pressure this year. He had 5 turnovers that was attributed to this exact thing. Basically, he hasn't been as good against the pressure. I don't know if he hasn't been trusting what he's seeing, but at the same time, we still 7-1, and there's always going to be some things to clean up. But however, with saying all that, against the Commanders last week, he managed an impressive 142.7 rating with 2 touchdowns under that pressure. So, like I said, man, it's always about how you respond. Things is looking not as good for you, but if you turn around and you show people that you can handle that pressure, which I know Jalen can, things start to look different for you. So hopefully he can come out here this week and do the same. But I want everybody to keep an eye out for the pass rush, as the Eagles have 4 players with 3 sacks each. Even though we wasn't able to get but 1 sack last week, and that was the Hassan Reddick seal the deal fumble, the game-ending sack. But that's what we wanted to see. That's what we need to see. But we got to make sure we pin our ears back this week and we get to Dak Prescott. We can't let him use his legs. He's been trying to use his legs a lot lately. We got to make sure we slow him down and we put him in the ground and make him make mistakes. We know that Dak Prescott can make mistakes. And there's so much stuff swirling around with, Dak having his 8-3 record against the Eagles, blah, 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 blah. That don't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing if you can't do nothing to stop us from going to the Super Bowl, going to the playoffs. It means nothing. Y'all did beat us, but what'd y'all do with that? Go home in the playoffs? You didn't do nothing. So, I don't really want to hear about that measly 8-3 record that, Dak has against the Eagles. And, he's been winning against everybody else in the division, but to do what? What has Dak done substantial besides be a regular season warrior? He ain't did nothing. So, I wanted to talk about the keys to victory, in my opinion, for this week. For the Eagles, I think the keys to victory would be, establishing a run game. Even though both of these teams has been holding these other run games down to about 3 yards per carry, I think that the game where Dallas lost, it was because Arizona was able to get the run game going. So I think we can do the same thing. We have the running backs to do it. We need a heavy dose of Swift, and we need a successful run game. And I would also like to see Penny, man. Why can't we see Penny? When we gonna see Penny? He's always healthy. He's always inactive for the game. I would like to see Penny in this game. I don't think we're gonna see that. But when will we see Penny? Will we see Penny, towards the second half of the season into the playoffs? There's been some reports that Penny, they're saving Penny for the playoffs. If that's the case, I think that's a great game plan, because that will put a lot of these teams that's been battered and bruised all year in a bad spot. But I would like to see Penny in a game like this, because I think that we can hit them with Swift. I think that we can hit them with Penny, and even if we have to, give him a little Boston Scott. Even though Boston Scott has been he was on the injury report, but I think it was for more of a personal issue. I don't think it was an injury. So I think that that's something that's not going to hold him from playing on Sunday. But I think the keys to victory, man, is like I said, establishing a run game. A.J. Brown, he's one of those guys where you have to get him involved, because the connection between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts is so dynamic that, it crushes teams. It kills teams. We was down a touchdown or 2 last week, and then when A.J. Brown and Jalen got going, you could just see the game start to turn around a little bit, and we end up winning. So A.J. Brown has to be on my keys to victory list. I know that's, the obvious, but, it's the truth. A.J. Brown has to get the ball in his hands. But I also want to bring up that the Philadelphia Eagles should be able to use Dallas Goedert in this game, because the Cowboys have, had their woes against good tight ends this season. So I think that we will be able to use Dallas Goedert, get him going. He can definitely be that guy. We know we going to AJ, we going to Schmitty, we slide it and give it to get Swift. We throw it to Julio Jones, but we also get Goddard involved because Goddard is a key. He's the key to winning this game because I don't think that they have the linebackers to stop him. I don't think nobody match up well against Goddard. And obviously, the Cowboys have been having issues with stopping tight ends. So he's definitely on my keys of victory list. Basically, playing clean. We have to play clean and limit the turnovers, limit the penalties. These are things that's going to win us this game because we cannot turn the ball over against the Cowboys like we did and then expect to come back and win. The Cowboys capitalize on turnovers. They do that on defense. They can score on offense. So we can't give them nothing. We got to take everything. I think that we are the more physical team. We've been winning with physicality. So as long as we do that, we should be good. Jalen Carter was full practice today. He should be ready to go. So it's time to get physical. And I think that if we use our physicality against this team, there's no way we lose. There's no way. And we were saying turnovers and talking about that. The turnover battle looks a little bit like this. The Cowboys have 13 takeaways. The Eagles are dealing with about 13 total giveaways. So we can't add to that this week. We can't add to that and give them stuff. We can't do that. This matchup is going to be one for the books. So make sure you tuned in on November 6th at 4:25, Eagles versus Cowboys. And I'm telling you right now, if the Cowboys lose and the Eagles win, I'm going to go dumb. That's just what it is. But you don't want to miss this. But if you're still watching this and you still tuned in and you feel like this video helped you out, do the channel a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you always up to date. Because Hotta going to keep bringing this work. But for now, Hotta out.